present. Thank you. Next order of business is the approval of the July 25 meeting minutes. Any questions or concerns about those minutes? Not looking for a
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
finance, Mr. London. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. August claims.
Yes, so we're looking to ratify the August claims. We have 5 items above $3,000. Number 1 is advanced weighing systems, and this is recurring annual support for our weighing system, $8,965. Number 2 is Dan Christiani excavating. This is 31.75 hours of grinding at the yard waste site, $27,072.50. Number 3 is Ingleall excavating. This is for cell construction. They've worked on road embankment, stockpiling soil, cleaning the synthetic liner and installing a culvert. $167,041.08. Number 4 is Greenwave Electronics. This is our electronics recycling program, 10.78 tons, $3,386.04. And number 5 is Vomac Truck Sales and Service. This is repairs to Packer 3. It includes a telematics update, new core shutoff valve, and repairing a speed sensor for a total of $3,453.44. And that's all the claims above $3,000 for August.
Any questions or concerns about those? Hearing none, I'd like a motion to approve.
I make a motion to ratify the August.
Mr. Frank Miller,
Second.
Mr. Carl Lineup, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay. September claims.
Yes, so we have 4 claims above $3,000. First is AE Boys. This is annual maintenance for our Keystone accounting programs, $4,835 even. Number 2, East Industries and Fabrication. This is composter repairs, $9,912.34. And number 3 is Ingleall Excavation, cell construction bill number 3, soil excavation, excavating of the underdrain, soil liner install, culvert pipes, and riprap install, $165,112.56. And number 4 is Sycamore Land Trust, the Harrison lease, $4,256. And that's all the claims above $3,000 for September.
Mr. Chairman, if I can add a bit of information from years past.
Thank you.
You notice on the last claim there, Sycamore Land Trust. That's a relatively new claim. It goes back 12, 15 years, but we had an assessor. It used to be that Sycamore Land Trust paid almost 0 property taxes because it was in a, not a
Tax exempt.
yeah, but what it was, not a 457, but a
501(c)(3).
501c3, and they paid little if no taxes, and there was a new assessor, and he changed all of that. And so they started paying pretty hefty property tax bill, so we started paying them. We used to do it for basically a third of that maybe. But once they started paying property taxes, our bill went up.
I make a motion, we approve this group of claims for what are these, for September?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Mr. Carl Lineup makes the motion.
I'll second, since I gave you that worthless piece of information.
Finance sector. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Doesn't look like there's any old business. So we'll move on to the monthly reports with the tonnage summary.
Yes, so at the CD site, in August, we had 10 tons. Again, no significant projects at the CD site so far. 80 tons for 2025. At the landfill, we had 9,847.64 tons in August. And that's 72,998.83 tons for 2025. We're about 8,145 tons over our 2024 total. We had 1,526 tons of out of county and 288 from Edinburgh in August. So those numbers all look strong. For updates, we do have our community-wide recycle day that Cummins hosts and we assist with. That's coming up a week from today. So that's a great event for hard to dispose of items. So keep that in mind. As well, just wanted to give you an update on the poison hemlock situation. You did see the composter repairs in our claims. Our composter's back up and working, but we will be doing some spraying to the adjacent sand hill sometime this fall. We've been working with the SISMA and Soil and Water. They're helping us to assess the best time to start doing that. Not quite yet, but it's coming. That will hopefully keep down the hemlock from spreading thus into our compost area. So good work going there. As well, wanted to give you an update on our tire grant. So we did complete our first tire grant. And we were awarded a second one. So it's really been kind of continuous with the acceptance there. So we're now accepting 6 tires per household as part of that second grant at the landfill. We have that grant will go on until the funds are expended, and we have $10,000. And we have been told that there'll be another grant cycle here in 2026. So we hope to apply for that next grant that's coming out. But a lot of tires have been recycled as part of that program, and we're lucky to have funds that we can pass on to residents. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Great, we'll move on to our financial reports.
So the revenues for August was $210,383.43. Compared to August of 24, we was down $33,273.23. And part of that is because I had a couple businesses, big businesses, that didn't pay until the next beginning of the month. Year to date, we're at $3,734,000.
Was one of those the Tony London Company?
No. No. Year to date, we are at $3,734,000. $3,734,084.60. So for year to date, we are up $473,727.26. Total expenditures for August was $545,597.97. Year to date, we are at $3,188,754.95. Excess over expenditures over revenue. We did have more expenditures, so we are $335,214.54. General fund balance as of August 31st was $2,454,581.29, with the remaining balance 44%. General fund cash balance is $2,585,312.44. Our general fund investment, so our reserve account was $1,000,000 $84,216.91. Rainy day fund is $265,860.70. Closure, post-closure is $2,838,332.29. Total of all funds is $6,773,722.34. And we did get the interest rate for the reserve and the closure, post-closure up to, it's now 3.25% after the Federal Reserve dropped the interest rate 25.25. It was at 3.5 and then they changed it to 3.25. So we are earning a little bit more money than what we was on those, cause it was at like 1%.
Good. Any further questions? Okay, we'll move on to the new business.
Yes, so in your packet, you have the salary and wages resolution. So county council did decide to go from a 2% to a 3%. So we did change our salary resolution and corresponding budget. So we are asking for approval of this change. It was included in first reading and it will be included in second reading, which will happen October 13th.
Also included in this, in the schedule, you'll see that there's a decline of two headcount that were part of the recycling program. So overall, the salary resolution numbers are going down by about $90,000, $80,000 for the year. Any questions or concerns? Like a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Carlina makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Larry Klein seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to the recycling center office hours.
Yes, so the county did, after 2 readings, approve to move county offices from an 8 to 4 p.m. schedule with a 20-minute paid lunch. We do follow the county's personnel policy, so we're asking for that same change. I did go out and look at some of our surrounding solid waste districts of their hours. I would say most of the adjacent counties are on an 8 to 4 schedule, very similar to their government offices. Some of them are housed in government offices and some aren't. So it seems like there's a lot of solid waste districts that are on that kind of same schedule. It would be a lot better work-life balance for our staff in those 2 locations. And we're talking about the district offices and the recycling center, not the landfill. So the landfill would remain the 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday and the 7:30 to 4 on Saturday. So we're not requesting for that location. We know they're usually very busy on some days from the gate opening to closing. So
Frank, have you guys talked about that at all at city council? They up smiling.
No,
Must be a hot topic.
we have so many people that come and service to city offices between 4 and 5.
Okay.
So we will remain open until. Yep. Thank you, Mayor.
thank you. Yeah, I would say at the recycling center, typically our busiest time is around the lunch hour. Honestly, it just seems like everybody's coming right there, kind of at the middle of the day. We do have people all day, but that just happens to be our busiest time. And typically, I would say between 7:30 and 8, we're pretty slow. There might be a straggler here or there, But really, I think the rush at the center is, the middle of the day.
Everybody drops their kids off to school and I would say we normally only see maybe one or two on a good day before 8 o'clock. And then maybe 2 or 3 after 4 o'clock, unless it's just a real busy day and you still don't see more than 5 people.
Well, I think that's the point, that every department, every agency knows what their traffic flow is, and to put one uniform hours on across the board, just for me, doesn't make sense, but, because each entity knows what their clientele does.
Does this need a resolution or a vote to switch the office hours?
I think
Or just a
that's
consent?
typically, since I've been here, that's typically how we've handled, hours changes is, board approval.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the hours of operations?
So moved.
Mr. London makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Carlino seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
I think typically or technically, and our attorney can correct me, because we long ago made a motion to follow or adopt the county's personnel policy. Right, Heather, that's what we follow.
Yes, we
I
do
would
follow
think that
the,
It's kind of an automatic, but I do think it helps to have board, at least ratification of it, so to speak, or approval. So,
So based upon the voice vote, I believe it was a 5-2 passing that motion. Thank you.
the two being Frank and the mayor.
Yes. Moving on to the Sycamore Land Trust contract.
yes, so we approved earlier in the meeting, for the lease, payment of the lease for Harrison. So our contract, in its current state is set to expire September of 2027. So we do have a good amount of time. But I thought it was important for us to at least start talking about, where we want to go, with our lease there. So, just to give you some background, in 2024, we took in 552.64 tons of trash at Harrison alone, and approximately 90 tons of recycling. And that includes cardboard, the commingled plastics, metal, glass, paper, as well as scrap metal. In 2024, our costs for the operation, not for the lease. So the site is operated via contract with Rumpke. We paid $12,276 for the operation of the site, $28,008 for moving of the trash weekly from Harrison to the landfill. So the total operations, we spent $40,284. Largely, the recycling at that site was not creating revenue except for the scrap metal. And we had about $606 in revenue. So that just gives you a little window into the financials of the site. I would say both of our convenience stations are highly used, but again, not on the level of the landfill, with them only being open on Saturdays from 8 to 3. But I thought it was time to bring the topic up and at least decide, if this is something we want to continue to discuss, if we're looking at renegotiating a new contract, if we're looking at making any changes to the contract at all. So I'll open the floor for any discussion we want to have. Again, the lease does not expire until September 30th of 2027. So we don't have to make a decision today, but we can.
Well, I think part of our next topic that we haven't hit on yet is the long-term vision. So that could be part of that discussion when that gets going, but I know I've sat here and I've advocated, for the idea of closing Harrison, but the board has decided not to, but, you know, we keep talking about, income and, cost, and since we've got the landfill on the west side, and you could argue that they're not right next to each other, but, we have, one on the east side, which I'm not advocating that we close it, and I never have. But the Harrison one, I could see us saving the cost. So that for me plays into the long-term vision though, of what. So that's just one of the topics for the next item of discussion, and for that group, that needs to happen.
That lease, or that we approved in, the September claims, $4,256. Is that once a year,
Twice a year.
twice a year?
So there is a spring and a fall payment. The next payment, will be made, in, April, March, 4,256. So it goes up slightly, every time we're paying, but it's gonna cap out, here at $4,384, for the final payment.
It's $8,500 a year. That's pretty good cash rent.
Plus the cost of operation.
Cause we pay for the electric bill and water, and that one we pay for the bathroom.
And we did develop the site, so, all the concrete work, all the equipment, was developed, by the solid waste district. So there is some, infrastructure there.
I suppose we have to think about $40-some thousand as compared to what it would cost us if we took it away. There will be a cost if we take it away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how do you gauge the people will drive that extra distance line
I-
that you don't? Right?
Well, I mean, some will. But a lot of them will.
He's talking about trash.
Crash out on the road. And, a lot of people don't even bother with the convenience of the convenience station. They just drop it wherever it's convenient for them, and it just absolutely drives me insane. Go out and see trash strewn everywhere, but it would be, if we were to close that, it would be a major issue, particularly on that.
Didn't we at one time have, like 4 satellites? We had one at Taylorsville.
Yeah,
We had- used
one
to have
on Long Road.
One on Long Road.
Yep.
Then we found this side and closed the Long Road.
Yeah, I think we had a lot more
I
of
can't
them.
remember where they were.
Before the city started picking up, like, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, it would be a revolt if we closed that west side. And I live out there, so.
Well, I think we need to be cognizant
From the people.
of the expenses. I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that, we have to pay that much rent. I mean, we got what, couple acres, probably at the most.
Yeah, you're right.
And the Sycamore Land Trust, I wonder how many acres they have there totally.
Oh, they had a lot more.
Yeah. But
Well-
it's less than 100.
Yeah, it says it's 1.39 acres,
Okay,
the legal description from the contract.
okay.
And we have sole possession of that property all 7 days a week. We just have it operated on Saturday.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a bit pricey for a 7-hour operation, but and then the alternative would be what, you close it down and hopefully people either driving to the landfill or use the Rumpke Pay service.
Yeah, that would be the options.
Why would you close one and not close the other? I'm just asking.
Well, our costs in
Yeah,
Petersville would be lower because we own the property, so we're not paying a lease.
Okay.
But the infrastructure and the operation, would be
Right.
similar.
But the,
Well,
but the,
I
but
I don't
the,
know if it would,
Yeah, feel if you close.
oh, I don't know if it would, behoove us to have some discussion with the assessor.
but the overall cost of the rent is 20% of the cost of the site. So whether we, we're talking about
Yeah.
$9,000 on a multi-million-dollar budget.
Yes.
And
What's it costing us a month total? We said, was it 50 grand?
it's about 42,000.
Okay.
It's
For a
40
year.
for the operation, and then if
Plus the
we
video.
add in, yes, a year. And
Plus
then
the
we
video.
add in the
About 50.
lease.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
just under 50.
Yeah, I would, so first of all, thank you for bringing this up. I don't typically agree with Frank, but I'm gonna agree with him. I think this kind of fits under that long-term vision planning, because yes, it costs us money, but if recycling is a priority,
Yep.
right, then are we willing to put our money where our mouth is and say, we're trying to make it as, I'm not gonna say as easy, but convenient for people. And we want them to do this, and we know the alternatives, that many of them will dump it by the side of the road, or they won't pay room keep. So is this important enough that there's something you pay for, even if you don't get revenue, because it's a priority. So I think that fits under the, is this one of them?
I agree.
It's not like we're paying $400,000 a year, we're paying $40,000.
Yeah.
Something.
And it's not just county. I go there every Saturday. It's part of my, unless I'm out of town. But it's not just county, we're out of city. It's a third of the people that go there are city residents. They bring their toters, their dump, that's how they meet the requirement of the city, one toter. They go there and dump their extras.
Mind you, Larry, if I live in the city, I'm also a county resident.
No, and Mayor, I'm the one that always preaches that sermon.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying that,
It serves a lot of people, is what you're saying.
yeah, it
It serves more than
it's not just a service for non-city residents, because that's sometimes how this board looks at it. It's not just, there are people that come from downtown that go out there if it's convenient or less. Anyway, it just, yeah, it's a lot of money to spend for a convenience. I know it is.
And, our population, I keep preaching, it amazes me how the population has, grown on the west side of the river. Since I moved as a boy back years ago from down the Garden City area. It's just amazing.
And if you look at our comprehensive plan for planning and zoning, that's where the plan wants it to grow.
Yes, exactly.
The plan, save, preserve the good farm ground, grow in the hill, build houses in the hills and hollers.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the heavy slimy clay.
Well, it's good information, Heather, to keep us informed.
Maybe we should reach out to Brown County government to get them to help pay for
Yeah.
15% of the people that come in from over there.
I would point to Carl's comment, when I first started building Tipton Lakes, there was a school bus picked up one kid.
That's changed a little bit since
It
then.
changed a little bit.
And it is an absolutely beautiful development, how all that has developed in the organization. If you
Good
like,
vision, good vision,
if you like orderly growth.
good vision.
And really, all of that started in the 70s. It was one of J.I.'s visions, I think, developing all of that. Now you got developments piggybacking off of his vision.
Good. So let's move on to the, planning committee, long-term vision planning committee discussion.
Yes, so, our 5-year plan will need renewed, in 2026. It's kind of good timing, oddly, because the state is in the process of updating their materials management plan. That hasn't been updated since the nineties, kind of what was part of the push for solid waste districts to be formed in the first place. So there will be, their report released sometime late this fall. And that will provide potentially some direction for state goals and how government entities can help to meet those state goals. And there is the potential for some trickle down funding to solid waste districts because of that. So we will presume we will see some direction on recycling, yard waste, and household hazardous waste from the state because of that plan. So I was hoping we can establish a small committee, maybe some of the board, some of the CAC staff, to kind of give us a precursor to us updating that plan at some point next year, while taking the state's plan into thought kind of on those three topics, and pulling that information together prior to us updating our 5-year plan. So I don't know if anyone here would be interested in being part of that committee, but I think board member participation is very important, so.
Excellent. So probably gonna take a little to get some volunteers for that. So it's a good thought. And hopefully we'll all consider participating in that if we have the opportunity. Okay. Is that,
I think you were asking if the board would
Participate, yes,
make a motion towards that, right?
yeah.
so
Yeah, I'd love to create a committee, a subcommittee, whatever we want to call that, that at least can have some discussion on this topic. I do not want to eat up anybody's time with meetings and meetings and meetings. But I think, you know, looking at our plan, looking at what the state will have out here towards the end of the year, at least meeting, kind of seeing where our thoughts are there, and using that information to develop a new 5-year plan.
So are you thinking it's a series of 2 or 3 meetings, or?
I would think that would be appropriate. Maybe reviewing our plan with the state's new plan, and then coming up with, you know, what are things we want to accomplish in the next 5 years, or, you know, what programs do we want to reinforce or lessen?
all right, prioritize.
Yeah.
Good. So do I hear a motion for a committee to be created for the long-term vision strategic planning committee?
So moved as long as I don't have to lead it.
Do we want to set what kind of form and substance that committee is as far as membership? Like, do you want 3 board members and 1 CAC member, or some kind of guidelines on what that is going to look like?
I think 2 or 3 board members would be appropriate. Again, I know we're busy and I don't want to eat at people's time.
And 1 CAC member maybe, and what, 1 or 2 staff members? I don't know.
Yeah, I think me and Amber would be appropriate. She's the numbers girl. I hate to not include the numbers girl.
What about like Brian Burton from city as far as?
Brian.
Sure.
Time, but just because such an integral part of what he does with the recycling piece, it's from the city's perspective, just having him sitting there.
So 2 to 3.
What time of the year you think they're gonna do this?
Well, I will
You think
say
the state will have their template.
the state's plan will be out sometime this fall. I've heard November. that's kind of the best guess. So I'm thinking here, we could potentially have a meeting, you know, to kind of review things, once that's released sometime early winter. And we can be flexible, with people's time and, you know,
I'd
the
be
holidays
willing-
is
I'd be
tough.
willing once we don't get into the farming season, okay?
Okay.
And then I don't want to volunteering necessarily, but I think as far as, our CAC, I think Scott could be a valuable person if he'd be willing to do that, kind of looking at those two documents.
I'm a team player.
Okay.
It's good clarifications on that.
Yeah. Any other participant?
I'd be willing
I would be willing to do it too.
Okay.
So the motion is to form it, but within the parameters of 2 to 3 board members, 1 tech member, probably Scott, 1 city member, probably Brian Burton, and 2 staff.
Yep,
Does
that sounds good.
clarify it? Okay,
So moved.
in a second.
So Mr. Kleinhands made a motion, Ms. Burdan seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed?
I will reach out once we have that state plan kind of in hand to start working. Thank you.
Fantastic.
And that's an important plan in the eyes of the state. Maybe you know that. And it's critical for long-term, solid waste, so it's a serious, you know, for.
And if you send out a copy of the current 5-year plan we're under.
Yes, I can.
I'm ready to go.
You need to put wheels on these chairs. Okay, gotta start with a complaint, all right, sorry about that. While we're talking about the 5-year plan, that's one of the things we talked about in our last CAC meeting. You know, the current 5-year plan is kind of based on the original 20-year plan, which is for 20 years, right, from here to here. Current 5-year plan is also a 5-year plan, so right now, it expires next year, so right now it's really a 1-year plan, right? So I think I'd like to see an evergreen plan, so every year, you step it out another year and look out 5 years. Because right now, it's just it's a lot of goals and objectives, but not a lot of what's gonna happen in 5 years, so I'd like to see that change, if possible. Comments on that? We'll do that in the
No,
committee.
I appreciate you saying that because, you know, we make these 5-year plans, not just here, but everywhere. And really, they're just a box to check off. You're asking that we would actually refer to them
Yeah,
and maybe judge how we've accomplished.
well, yeah, and look out 5 years, self-construction, changes in finances.
Yeah.
Things like that.
One of the things that kind of we have, but has never been in that plan is we have a kind of a capital assets plan of when are we doing cell construction? When do we expect to buy something big? Knowing that if something happens, that may not be set in stone, but that's something that can easily be added into our 5-year plan that already exists. It's just never been in the plan. So I think that's an easy inclusion of those thoughts.
Yeah, and
So,
since we're redoing it this year, I think it would be a good time to again, make it kind of an evergreen plan every year. You go, what are we gonna be doing in 5 years? You could even make a tab, you know, 20 years and 85 years, but that may be a bit much. But I'd like to see a plan that's actually kind of a 5-year plan instead of just kind of a statement of principle. So anyway, we can discuss that in our committee meeting. We had some guys, members that went to the Circular Indiana Conference. Heather went to that also, to get the latest and greatest and get motivated on recycling stuff. And I think there's a battery rule, maybe, extended producer responsibility, right? EPR is what they're calling it, which is the only way we're ever gonna get anywhere is if manufacturers start making stuff recyclable. Plastics, most of them are not recyclable, right? And so Manufacturers have to get into that. And I think this particular is about batteries.
Yep.
Because batteries are causing fires and catching things on fire, so,
Didn't Rumpke have a fire at one of their landfills, not in Indiana?
We've had several as a
It was
result.
in the news just in the last few days.
Yeah, there
Was it in
was,
Ohio?
there was one in Ohio, and then we recently had one out here at, Jackson County at Medora.
Batteries?
I don't know what the result of that was, whether it was batteries or.
old burn barrel. So anyway,
We have more truck fires as a result of batteries than we do anything, so.
when they get smashed, they get damaged, and that's when things go south. I had another member tell me they're probably gonna be dropping out. It must be my leadership. I don't know. But I haven't gotten official word on that yet. But we're gonna be short a member, so we're gonna look for some candidates, and hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have somebody lined up. I think and if you guys have any ideas, we'll sign them up and they can enjoy the meetings with us as well.
Don't beat yourself up, Scott, with member stuff and all,
It happens.
I mean, the recycling world's a tough world to be in right now. And, it's always worthy of discussion, but maybe right now, it's not quite as worthy of investment.
Market's not there.
Just
Economic
because of the
consideration,
market.
right.
And so, I don't think it's you that's causing your turnover of your committee.
Oh, thank you.
It's pretty hard to serve on a committee when you're kind of beating a dead horse.
Yeah, it's been, yeah, I agree lately. And mixed recyclables, recycling is tough. And it's expensive, and you're right. So I appreciate the comments. I try not to drive people away. May not work on. The other thing, quickly, just, the mill race. We've been working on event recycling. We've met with these guys. They're interested. They're trying to do the right thing. We're not gonna go around sorting stuff out of garbage cans. We're an advisory committee, right? So we want these people that are coordinating these events to plan for recycling by themselves, right? We want them to have it cooked into the process. So we'll see what happens here this weekend. I'd be happy if they could just keep all the banana peels out of the recyclables, because that was really a mess one year. I think it ended up most everything got thrown away. So baby steps, and if they can do that and they're interested, I think they've worked with the Sierra Club, maybe we can make some progress. But there's stuff all over the county. Event recycling is a pain, and like you said, it's really expensive to get stuff, and you don't get a lot of bang for the buck. So it's a balancing act. And one other comment, I live out by Harrison Township, been going there forever, go there every Saturday, pick up trash in front of it all the time. And there's a new subdivision coming out there and a school, and it's just, there's gonna be more demand out there. And I agree, I find plenty of trash on the road. So I would encourage you not to close it. The least cost seems to me to be the only difference. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, I'll shut up. Any questions? Thank you.
Scott?
Yeah.
Scott, is this next meeting, is that October 8th, your next meeting?
Yes, that's our next meeting, next CAC meeting.
Thanks. Any comment from the general public? Anybody have anything for us that they wish to convey?
Listening to that discussion, if you really had somebody from the northern edge of the county, or well, maybe not even the northern, let's just say the northern edge of the city to the North County line, you could argue that we ought to have a convenience station up there for those people. I mean, they've really got a long way to go.
North of the airport.
Yeah. I'm not advocating it, but I'm just throwing that out there, that, you had a really noisy wheel, they'd, have some justification.
Heather, how's the cardboard conversion going at this point?
Yeah, so we have we have stopped collecting, cardboard, commercial cardboard. We have picked up all of the containers that are out there. We are in the kind of transition period where Rumpke has taken over the collection from the convenience stations. So the cardboard used to be collected by our route, and now it is being collected by Rumpke. So we're switching over containers from our containers to Rumpke's containers. And then kind of that transition will kind of continue. So the recycle pad will open. The best guess is now the middle of November because of some concrete delays.
That was another question I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that's kind of the hope. They've done some site work out there, but they don't have any concrete poured. They're kind of awaiting that. Once that pad opens, we will stop collecting commercial deliveries at the recycling center and transition over to Rumpke putting in 30-yard containers for our staff to empty people's vehicles and then tip that into the 30 yards. So we're still in, in a transition time. But our program has ended. That was a little rocky. We pulled all the containers, so there's none of our containers out there. Well, some people didn't even know. They didn't get the letter or didn't understand the letter, didn't see anything in the newspaper, and then we pulled the container and then they called us and asked why they have no container.
Mayor,
my
did you
container?
So,
Did you get much pushback on that? We got a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit.
It all comes down to messaging, and it's really hard to figure out how you message in this stage,
Well, it's more than messaging.
Well, but messaging, to her point, is people understanding that, not reading it, not getting the letter, it's just finding the multiple ways of letting people know that there's a change coming. That's number one. Yeah, they don't like the change itself, but even just, no, but quite frankly, we didn't get that many calls on it. Few, but.
yeah,
How do you need to spend Spencer to her then?
I'm shocked he didn't.
I am too, I really am.
yeah, I mean, we've
Spencer
had,
Thompson is really upset,
yeah.
and a couple of others.
We have a lot of cardboard.
They do.
Really, really upset.
Well, and there's a lot of people that did not understand what was in the newspaper. They just thought we were stopping taking cardboard permanently.
I had people thinking
So,
that all of the recycle center was even closing. I mean, I did have phone calls on it and they totally misunderstood the article. The article was not written well. I'll say
yeah,
that.
I wish we had the chance to proofread or
Yeah.
provide comment, but yeah, there's no,
But then it
The
becomes
ones
your
that
fault,
contacted me were mad because now they're gonna, it's costing them $100 a month.
300.
yeah.
That the taxpayers have carried for 20 years.
Mhm.
It's the old rules for thee, not for me.
Would there be any benefit, like asking the newspaper to run another?
I think we're past it now.
Yeah, we're past this.
Okay.
I think it's the old story though. Jim can start a story over there. By the time it gets to Omer,
It's totally different.
it's gonna be quite a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we sent a letter to all the commercial customers trying to be clear, about the changes. Communications is a hard thing and how do you say it and do it? And I definitely have some things in my mind to, make sure anytime we do this again, that we kind of learn from, I think communications is always just, it's a difficult,
And just
thing
change,
to do.
change in general.
Yeah.
Most people just don't handle change well, any sort of change.
Yeah.
And, so it's, partially messaging. Messaging can help smooth that over, but ultimately people are just gonna have their response and that's what it's gonna be.
well, I commend our staff. I had made the unfortunate decision months prior to be on vacation when this all came down.
Well done, by the way.
And if hindsight's 2020, I wouldn't have done that, but
Wink,
our
wink.
staff did a very good job of
I
handing.
think I called you on your
and-
vacation.
Yeah, it's okay.
Heather.
Our staff has, really, really good staff that I can depend on that can handle, the hard conversations. So we are lucky.
it
We
would be-
love it.
It would be interesting to see how many of those ex-customers got on board with a provider, or how many of them just now throw it in their dumpster.
Yeah, it would be
But they would
interesting.
have to get twice the pickups if they're throwing it in their dumpster. If they were getting once a week, now they'd have to get twice a week.
The ones I have talked to, most of them had to either changed over. If they didn't go to Rumpke, they did go to Best Buy.
That's right, okay.
We do have a few that still bring their cardboard in, even though
Okay.
we don't pick them up.
All right.
They're trying to wait till the last minute before they have to
Yeah,
pay that
bite the
extra
bullet.
fund.
Yeah.
Especially like, Love Chapel still brings in a bunch of theirs because with them being a nonprofit, they're not looking forward to that extra cost. So,
Sometimes you pay it one way or the other.
yeah.
In their case, they'll pay it through their volunteers, because the volunteer will load it on their vehicle and take it to the recycling center at their expense.
And it come from their house,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
maybe it did.
supposedly. It's whatever. However,
Heather, the tire grant that we talked about very beginning
Yep.
is, that's strictly residential.
Yes, so we're really trying to target residents and to help with the financial burden and kind of the logistics for residents,
I
yes.
think we have some decent little stack of tires out at the old highway garage.
Well, we did-
Can you reach out?
Yes, I did put it in this new grant that we could accept from, other government entities. So I had a conversation, I can't remember who in the highway office.
Recently?
Yeah, Stacy, about, as they're getting tires, if they can bring it to us, like roadside tires, or you're changing out vehicles, just bring them to us.
Well, we were just
we
trying to
can-
figure out what to do with those, and so, I think Danny remembered you had that. But
Yes.
also, don't we have a recycling day, a Toyota recycling day coming up? or-
Cummins,
Cummins,
it's
Cummins
a
will
week
have-
from, it's a week from today. So if you haven't seen the
Tires is
flyer,
non-farm tires.
correct.
yeah, they're taking tires on that day
No
as
tractor,
well.
just no tractor tires.
Truck or car, okay.
I think it just says it says car and truck tires, no tractor tires.
Back to
No
someone's
semi
point earlier,
tires.
all those tires that we collect as a highway are tires that we've picked up. Somebody calls, hey, there's 4 tires on the corner of 500 North and Mar Road. Where somebody got new tires in town, they don't wanna pay the
Drop them.
$2.50 a tire fee.
Disposal.
So they say, oh, no, I need those tires, and they stop on a dark night and throw them off. And we pick them up, cause we don't want them laying there.
Yeah, I mean,
But it
the
adds up. In
the
a year's
highways
time, we get 200 or
welcome to-
300.
well, the highway's welcome to bring us those, they
As
bring
we
us
do, as we
roadside
get 'em.
trash.
That's what we ought to figure something out.
That's the only thing I had.
Something that would help, and I've never been one for laws. If I were legislating.
We all know that about you.
Yeah, I would measure my success on saying, I didn't create any new laws this year. But that loophole in the tire system, see, they think that they put these fees on tires every time you buy a new tire. There should not be an option. You should not get an option to take those tires away.
Hmm.
They should take them and keep them, because they end up on our county roads and on our interstate highway systems. They're laying there because people they don't pay the fee and then they discard them on the way home. Anyway.
Sounds like a good note to contact your state legislators.
Okay.
You can't burn them. You can't take them home. In the old days, you'd say, oh, I need those. I've got a big brush fire. I need them for. Can't do that anymore.
Okay.
think we're about done with our public comment. I think we've. So next meeting, scheduled for November 20th. Hopefully we'll be able to see everybody there. And we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Leonard, seconded. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.